All right, we're getting ready to start with our first question. I want to remind our candidates that right here, if y'all will stand up. First of all, let's thank our timekeepers. This is not an easy job. Y'all stand up. Wave to the crowd. Thank y'all very much. So they will show you a 30-second warning and then a stop. Is that correct? Okay. So and we've kind of got one in front of each of you, so that way you can tell. Wave your 30-second, wave your stop. So if you'll please respect and follow their directions. They're truly the ones in charge of this debate. All right, first question, and this will come as no surprise to this audience. It's about medical freedom. The federal government has committed significant overreach with their unconstitutional vaccine mandates. What will you do to ensure that every Texan has the freedom to choose which medical procedures are right for them without coercion from the government or their employers? And Mr. Huffines, Senator Huffines, if you'll go first, please. You have 3 minutes. 3 minutes, sir.
Well, this is critical to who we are as Texans. This is about your liberty, your personal liberty. And what's more important than your medical condition, your medical liberty? What is the fundamental role of government? Always ask someone that's running for office that question. And I answer it simply by saying the fundamental role of government is always to defend your God-given liberties. That your liberties come from God and not the government. Of course, that's why we swear an allegiance to a little document, my favorite document, our Constitution. But we're talking about something that's personal to you, your medical liberty. I will do everything I can as your governor to ensure that no one is forced to take a vaccine they don't want to take. Thank you, Chad. You can have that one. It's a bummer. Okay.
Somebody get us a mic that works.
No one should be forced to take a vaccine they don't want to take for any reason. I was for vaccine choice before we had this Wuhan virus. This is your medical liberty we're talking about. I will make sure, and the simple way to do that is to pass a piece of legislation. Look, thank you. The governor can get that done. I've called for another special session. Something to be clear about. The governor of Texas can get almost any bill done anytime he wants. I've been in the legislature, I've seen it, what the lack of leadership has done to us. My campaign's about leadership, no excuses. I'm the actual Republican running that's actually going to do something. I'll get a bill done as quick as any bill you've ever seen to make sure that you cannot be forced to take a potential poison into your body. Look, guys, I have never taken the vaccine, and I never will take the vaccine. If you want to take it 10 times, get after it. If you want to walk around in a spacesuit, that's okay. But I'm not going to let anyone forcibly require you to wear a mask, or your kids to wear a mask in school, or to shut down your school system. This is about you. This is for you. That's why I'm running. This is about your liberty and your freedom. Thank you very much.
Thank you. If you'll pass the mic. Mr. Prather?
One of the beautiful things about being a Texan is that we have a sense of what I call humble arrogance. Everything is a little bit larger here. We walk a little bit taller. Our heads are held high. Our chests are stuck out. Our stomachs sucked in. I look at this handout that Colonel West has, and I love that picture of him in that shirt. Those are implants, aren't they?
Those are implants.
Implants, yeah. I could put on the shirt, but I don't think it would look quite so good. You know, I was a Texan in South Dakota last July 2nd. I was sitting across the table from Don Trump Jr. having a glass of wine, and my phone went off, and it was notifying me that the governor of Texas had handed out another shutdown, deeming of your business and your individual selves as being non-essential. He did that dictatorially and unilaterally. He shut us down again, and that's when I went to Twitter over a mandate and said that I was going to run for governor in 2022 in the great state of Texas. Now, again, I don't know if it was because I was drinking wine or with a Trump that I went to Twitter, but nonetheless, I went to Twitter. And so I realize that there are things that are very sacred to us. Our border is very sacred. We know that. We see people encroaching, coming across, invading. How much more sacred is the autonomy of the human body's border? And yet we're being told that we must be forced to allow something to inject us in order to keep a job. I was driving down the interstate just this morning. I saw a billboard that said, "Not all heroes wear capes," and it had pictures of medical professionals on it. Well, apparently not all heroes get to keep their jobs in the state of Texas either. Now, under terms of employment, I can tell my employees that I want them to wear a uniform 8 hours a day as long as they're on the workplace, but I can't tell them to go home and wear it all night long and to wear it 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. That violates their terms of employment. How dare I say that they've got to inject something, a foreign substance in their body, something that people don't even understand or even know if it's effective or it works, something that is consistently being censored. Listen, if you want to have freedom of choice, it's not freedom of choice if you're restricted from not choosing it. So what we're seeing, folks, is right now, immediately, there should be a legislative session taking place regardless of holidays. Now, the governor will call a legislative session after the first of the year. He'll do it. He'll do it. But he'll do it because he's afraid of Donald Trump rescinding his endorsement over election integrity. He's not saying anything about these mandates. These mandates need to be priority number one. It needs to be passed through the legislation because his executive order is not worth any more than the paper it's written on. It's garbage until it goes through the legislature. Needs to be priority number one. Folks, I've read a lot about COVID. I don't understand any of it, neither do the scientists or the doctors. But I have read the Texas Constitution, and I have read the U.S. Constitution. And I know it wasn't written to keep us safe or healthy, but to keep us free.
Thank you. All right, Colonel West.
Well, first and foremost, we have to come to realize we live in a republic. Two things about a republic is, number one is your rights, your freedoms and liberties. I do have it on.
Tilt it and see if that helps. If not, I can hand you mine.
Tilt it. Is that
Can
better?
y'all hear him?
Okay.
Excellent. And time starts over now, please.
I use my army voice. The thing is, living in a republic, we're supposed to be governed by laws, not ruled by mandates, edicts, orders, and decrees. And when I look at the Constitution, I cannot find an enumerated power to any level of government that says they're supposed to protect our health. They're supposed to protect our rights. And when you talk about medical freedom, that is one of the most important rights that you have. If you cannot have control over your body and what goes into your body, what do you have control over? Now, some of you all may know that my wife and I, we had a little fight with Mr. Wuhan coronavirus. And the thing is that I did not get a shot, not going to get a shot, but we called up some of the frontline doctors here in the state of Texas, and we asked them what are the right treatments, what are the right protocols, what are the right therapies out there. That's why we went and got the monoclonal antibodies therapy. That's why we got on the ivermectin. That's why we're taking the zinc. We're taking the D3. We're taking the calcium. All of those things that are available to you. But when I see what is happening right now, and oh, by the way, when did Joe Biden come out and say that he was going to have this shot mandate? It was right in the middle of a debacle in Afghanistan to shift the narrative. We've got to be smarter than that. And when we're talking about this coronavirus, this is the least dangerous pandemic that the world has ever seen. A 99.9% recovery rate. That it's not worth the ruining of lives, the losing of your freedoms that we have experienced even here in the state of Texas. So it is not just about getting them back in for a special session to make sure that we pass a law. But let me tell you something else that needs to happen. Right over in Tarrant County, there's a Tarrant County sheriff who is laying in bed dying from COVID-19. His wife has asked for certain procedures and therapies and protocols, and the hospital is denying him. How did we get to this point here in Texas? This is one of the things that we must do. The Texas Medical Board, the Texas Nursing Board, the Texas Pharmacy Board must all be reformed because those bureaucracies serve you as Texans. They don't get to make the decisions about what you get to have in your bodies. And I will do that reformation. And again, when we have the State of the State address in January of 2023, if it's not resolved, medical freedom will be one of those legislative priorities that I will put forth as your governor. Thank you.
Thank you.